What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Average Joe Sports. In today's episode, I'm going over my picks for NFL Week 9. If you're new to the channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on all bell notifications so you never miss an episode of Average Joe Sports. And also remember to hit that like button, as it's the best way to help the channel grow and create a community full of sports lovers just like you. So let's start off with the first game of the NFL Sunday slate. We have the Minnesota Vikings visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are coming off a bye week in which they came out really on top without even playing a game. The Bengals lost, the Browns lost, and of course the Steelers won, but that's just because they were playing the Browns. And now the Browns kind of look out of it. They look really down in the dumps. They have a 4-4 record. Just got beat by the Steelers team, who honestly don't have that much offense. So where does that put Baker Mayfield? And now, this being the NFL trade line day, we know for sure that OBJ is not happy in Cleveland, and he wants out. Now, it's probably not going to happen today, but after this year, you can almost guarantee that he will not be a Cleveland Brown. And the Vikings are coming off a terrible loss to backup quarterback Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. You just simply cannot lose to a Dallas Cowboy team who doesn't have Dak Prescott as their starting quarterback. There's no excuse for it, and if Minnesota wanted to be a playoff team, those chances took a considerable hit, losing to the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this one by a final score of 31-21. Next up, we have the New England Patriots visiting the Carolina Panthers. The Patriots have put together a couple good wins in back-to-back weeks, and the Panthers are really reeling right now. Will they have Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback? Of course, he's in concussion protocol this week, so we'll have to see how he does in practice throughout the week, and that'll determine whether or not he plays on Sunday. And the Patriots' Mac Jones is looking really well so far in his rookie season. You can say that he's probably the best rookie quarterback that came out of the draft so far. Now, of course, we know Trevor Lawrence is dealing with that trash situation in Jacksonville, although the Urban Meyer controversy has died down a lot after the John Gruden news came out and everything pushed it underneath the carpet. But in an upset pick, I'm picking the Carolina Panthers by a final score of 24-21. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns visiting the surprising Cincinnati Bengals, who sit in second place in the AFC North. The Cleveland Browns at 4-4 are in the cellar. Now, this could be a Browns get-right game. They've lost a couple. They're reeling. Baker's still dealing with those shoulder injuries. OBJ doesn't want to be there anymore. The running backs are out. Banged up O-line. Things just aren't going right for the Cleveland Browns this year, and you really feel for them. I know a lot of major ESPN people picked the Cleveland Browns to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Now look at them, 4-4. And the Bengals have been surprising a lot of people, although they just had an absolute terrible loss to the New York Jets. They let Mike White have 405 yards passing on him. That's just unacceptable. No backup should be able to come in and throw for over 400 on you, being the only Jets quarterback to throw for 400 yards in a game since Vinny Testaverde in 2000. But the Browns are down. In Cincinnati, if they want to make it to the playoffs this year, this is a must-win game. I have the Cincinnati Bengals defeating the Cleveland Browns by a final score of 23-21 on a last-second field goal. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Now, on paper, the Dallas Cowboys should win this one handily. The Broncos just got rid of their best defensive player in Von Miller, shipped them over to the Rams for a second and a third-round pick. And the Cowboys are coming off a great team win. When their quarterback Dak Prescott was out, Cooper Rush came in, threw the last-second touchdown to Amari Cooper to end up sealing the win versus Minnesota on Sunday Night Football. The Broncos did just come off a good comeback win versus the Washington football team on Sunday, but Broncos fans just aren't happy. There was over 11,000 empty seats in that stadium, and then on Twitter, a lot of Denver Broncos fans were just saying they couldn't even give their tickets away. That's a real problem. This year, the Broncos need to do everything in their power to get one of these quarterbacks. Not Aaron Rodgers. I do not want Aaron Rodgers in my division whatsoever. Please just don't get Aaron Rodgers. Maybe draft somebody. Who knows? Maybe you can trade for a Jimmy Garoppolo. That seems a little bit more realistic. And people in Denver probably won't be happy with that, because you go from Teddy Bridgewater to a Jimmy Garoppolo who kind of is the same quarterback. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, I would say, is a little bit better than Teddy Bridgewater. But is he going to be that Super Bowl quarterback that you can really count on like you got with Peyton Manning? No. Not to mention you have to deal with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in your division for the next 10 plus years, and Derek Carr apparently is never going to leave the Raiders, so probably another 5 years of him as well. I have the Cowboys big in this one. The Broncos probably score a last-second touchdown to keep it a little bit closer than a lot of people think, but I have the Dallas Cowboys beating the Denver Broncos by a final score of 27-19. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I think it's going to be a pretty easy game for the Buffalo Bills. They're going to destroy the Jaguars. I have Bills big by a final score of 38-17. Next up, we have the Houston Texans visiting the Miami Dolphins. Two of the worst teams in the AFC. Which team is going to get their second win? Is it going to be Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins, who just can't score on anybody? Or is it going to be the Houston Texans, who've pretty much decided that they're just going to start from ground zero starting next year? They haven't traded Deshaun Watson, so are they going to do that in the offseason and get a plethora of picks from any team who gives it to them? I don't know. The Houston Texans are a mess right now. But their salvation, Tyrod Taylor, should be coming back this week. I know I've been saying that the last couple weeks. This week, I'm pretty sure he should really be back. And I have the Houston Texans barely beating the Miami Dolphins by a final score of 17-16. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons visiting the New Orleans Saints. Now, of course, big news out of New Orleans that Jameis Winston is out for the rest of the year with an ACL injury, so that's terrible for him. Now it's all up to Trevor Siemian to try to tread water and hopefully get this team to a playoff berth. A wild card at the very least. Going up against the Atlanta Falcons, the Falcons are just super wishy-washy these last few years. After their Super Bowl run, they really just haven't decided on whether or not they're going to be good or bad. Now, a lot of that has been due to injuries to star wide receivers like Julio Jones and them just not really having a great defense at all, even though they have a few good pieces. And the Saints usually always tend to have problems with the Falcons. It's just one of those division rivalry things. And even though the Saints have Trevor Siemian starting as their quarterback, I'm going to go out on a branch and say that their defense gets the job done for them. I have the New Orleans Saints defeating the Atlanta Falcons by a final score of 20-19. Close game, but a game they win. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders visiting the New York Football Giants. The Giants just came off a hard loss to the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football, and the Raiders are coming off a bye week. The Giants show they had a lot of good things going for them on Monday night. I mean, they kept the Chiefs to 20 points of offense. That has to count for something. And the Raiders have been looking really good this year too. Derek Carr, he's a game manager. And their defense has been really surprising, with key players like Max Crosby really proving his worth on the defensive line. And off of a bye week, the Raiders should be prepared for everything the Giants have to throw at them. In one of my upset games of the week, I'm going with the New York Giants to defeat the Las Vegas Raiders by a final score of 26-23 on another last-second field goal. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chargers are another team coming off a bye week, going up against the Eagles team who just haven't really figured out who they are yet this year. Justin Herbert, I expect to have a big bounce-back game, and I think they're going to come out and smack Philadelphia in the mouth. But I think Philadelphia smacks back a little bit. They keep this game close. But I do have the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Philadelphia Eagles by a final score of 29-24. Next up, in the game of the week for Week 9, it's the Green Bay Packers visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. So that means on a neutral field, they would be half-a-point underdogs. And honestly, the Packers have been looking a lot better than the Chiefs have so far this year. The Packers are 7-1. The Chiefs are 4-4. And not looking really good at that 4-4. Patrick Mahomes continues to have the interception problems, albeit though the one last night, how can you really put that on him? Hits a receiver in the hands, hits another receiver off the face mask, pops up in the air, and then the defender just so happens to get under it and catch it. And Mahomes have had a lot of bad luck so far this year. And the Green Bay Packers are coming in hot, defeating the only undefeated team left in the NFL and the Arizona Cardinals. The Packers can run the ball. They're good on the back end. Their defensive line, if they can get to Patrick Mahomes, is going to cause a lot of problems because Patrick Mahomes just hasn't looked comfortable in the pocket all year. The Chiefs, however, have to run the ball themselves, and they did pretty good whenever they did run the ball on Monday Night Football. The Chiefs need this win in the worst possible way to go to 5-4, and if they can win against the Green Bay Packers, who a lot of people have as one of the best teams in the NFL right now, that'll just project them in the way that they really need to go. They have a tough 3-game stretch here. First game against the Green Bay Packers at home, then on the road against Las Vegas on Sunday Night Football, and then another game at home against the Dallas Cowboys, who have looked really good so far this year as well. The Chiefs just need to find a way to at least go 2-1 in these 3 games, and going 3-0 will be the absolute thing that this team needs. Now, I know it's not an upset, but it feels like an upset. I'm taking the Chiefs to beat the Green Bay Packers by a final score of 30-28. And guys, if you've watched this far into the video already, please remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on all bell notifications. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals visiting the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said previously, the Arizona Cardinals are coming off their first loss of the season to the Green Bay Packers in a game in which they really should have won if A.J. Green just looked back and tried to get that pass. The 49ers haven't been looking great this season, losing a lot of people to injuries and losing a couple close games, but winning this past Sunday really was a step in the right direction. If the 49ers want to have any chance at going to the playoffs this year, they need to get this game. But I think Kyler Murray comes out like a man on a mission, very upset that they lost the game last week, and they get a little bit of revenge against one of their division foes. I have the Arizona Cardinals defeating the San Francisco 49ers by a final score of 26-24 on, you guessed it, another last-second field goal. Let's go! Kickers, let's get these wins. Next up on Sunday Night Football, we have the Tennessee Titans visiting the LA Rams. And of course, the huge news out of Tennessee this week is that their star running back and one of the MVP frontrunners, yeah, I said MVP frontrunner, Derrick Henry, is probably going to be out for the rest of the regular season at least, and probably into the playoffs if Tennessee so happens to make the playoffs. Now they're the first seed right now, but without Derrick Henry, how is that going to affect them? Everyone knows that he's the best running back in the NFL by a far wide margin. So will the backups be able to shoulder that load that Derrick Henry leaves in his absence? Now they just signed free agent veteran running back Adrian Peterson. Will he be able to help them? I hope so. Probably not within the next couple of weeks, but maybe into the season if they're still winning games. You know they're going to be probably in the playoffs because they play in that weak division, which is the AFC South. So the second place team, the Indianapolis Colts, have a record of 3-4, and Tennessee has a 3-game lead over them, including the tiebreaker because they just played last week. But the Rams look to be the cream of the crop of the NFC. There's a lot of teams in the NFC that's just stacked right now with one loss. The Cowboys are up there, the Cardinals are up there, the Rams are up there. It just so happens that the Rams have the Cardinals in their division, so they're not leading it right now. But with the Cardinals just losing their first game, the Rams see that there's hope. There's blood in the water, and they went and acquired Von Miller, a veteran Hall of Fame defensive player that's really going to help this team out. By far and away, probably the best defense in the NFL. So for all those reasons, I have the LA Rams defeating the Tennessee Titans by a final score of 34-21. And finally, on Monday Night Football, we have the Chicago Bears visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Two teams with great history meet on Monday night. Justin Fields looked really good against the 49ers this Sunday. Although he didn't win, he did have over 100 yards rushing and an absolutely insane touchdown run. The Steelers are coming off a good team win versus the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Final score, I think it was 15-10. So it was a drag 'em out type game, and the defense could be really winded. Big Ben still doesn't look his true self, even though he's looked a lot better in the last few weeks. And the Bears are not looking too bad either. Hopefully, they can stay in contention for that last wild card seed late into the season. And by winning this game, they give themselves a great chance in doing so. In another upset pick, I have the Chicago Bears defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers by a final score of 24-23. Alright guys, those were my NFL Week 9 picks. Thank you for watching Average Joe Sports, a sports lovers podcast. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, turn on all bell notifications so you never miss an episode of Average Joe Sports. And please remember to hit that like button, as it's the best way to help the channel grow and create a community full of sports lovers just like you. I'll be back with another episode soon, guys.